This information you do not want to miss. Blockchain Wayne, why people cannot afford to miss this interview.
This is going to be one of the most important things for people to learn. This technology is going to be far-reaching. This is more than just about money. And a lot of people think they're late to the game. Bitcoin's over 100K. I missed it. No, this is just getting started. We're still in the early stages. And the actions you take today and the time you take to educate yourself can really make an impact on your future.
Hello, here Edgardo Valdivieso from Las Vegas. And one more show of Edgardo Valdivieso Show. And today we have a very special guest that we're going to be talking about blockchain, DeFi, cryptomania, all the topics. For that reason, you do not want to miss this video. Watch it until the end. Before that, don't forget to subscribe and give us a like, okay? And follow us on all the Instagram, Facebook, because Edgardo Valdivieso Show is rocking. It's growing every single day. So we're going to start this show rolling. And we have Blockchain Wayne. Welcome to the show, my friend. Welcome to my house.
Hey, Edgardo, man, thanks for having me. Great to be here.
Man, I'm so excited because today we're going to be talking about something like you're the first person, okay, that we invite to this show that we're going to be talking about crypto. We're going to be talking about blockchain. We're going to be talking about DeFi. We're going to be talking about so much about this topic that right now it's a cryptomania. If I can say that, I don't know if I said it right, Wayne, but you know what? You can correct me. But before we say that, before we talk about those excited things, tell us for all those people that are watching, which is thousands of people worldwide, because if you see our shows, there's thousands of people. And 90% of these people, they don't even know you. They don't know me. First time they're watching. Okay. So tell us a little bit about you. Who's Blockchain Wayne?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate that. So going back to my root, and let's just talk about when I came into this space, because I've always been curious about tech. I realized how tech is, growing up in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, right? I realized that tech is really going to impact everybody's lives. Look at the world we live in today. You cannot have a job without tech being involved. And in 2016, I finally had a friend sit me down and say, hey, you've been ignoring this Bitcoin thing for a while, because I heard about it many years prior. And he's like, you should really take a look. And I went down this rabbit hole of what is money? How does this work? What is Bitcoin? Blew my mind about the potential, the future of this thing, and how it can impact so many different industries, not just money, but so many different industries. Just like the internet changed our world, this is going to be another iteration of technology that can change and revolutionize our world. And so I was blown away. And so I realized in 2016, 2017, trying to learn this, it was hard. There wasn't many resources you could go to learn. And so as I learned something, I actually started teaching others. And that kind of evolved into, okay, in 2018, I started podcasting just to teach more people. And that led to me working for different companies, building educational products, like educational courses and stuff. Like, I don't teach people what to buy, because that's everybody's individual personal decision. But the mechanics, how to use this technology, right? It's like a vehicle. How do I drive this car? And so to teach people that, how does it work? And that eventually led to doing some conferences in Miami Crypto Experience. We weren't an event company, but it was just a few of us that decided that there was something missing there. And this was kind of right at the tail end of COVID. So we did a few of those. And then now I work full time in the space. I actually run a company that builds protocols that simplify the user's experience within wallets. And so we do that. And then my passion is still educating others. So I love doing stuff like this. I love being able to get in front of people and help them really understand this technology, and hopefully catch them before they fall for some of the shady stuff, some of the scams. Anytime there's new technology, you will have scams and stuff that'll come out. That's not just crypto, that's anywhere. Real estate scams, right? Stock market scams, early stage internet scams. And so the better you are at learning and understanding this, the less likely you are to fall for something like this and make the right decision. So that's why I'm passionate about what I do. And now I get to get up, travel all over the world, talk about this technology, talk about this industry, and really share with people, what we're building. It's funny, in the last 30 days, I was telling people about this technology in Thailand, And then a few days ago, I was telling people about it in my hometown in Louisiana. I was talking to a group of realtors about this because they wanted to know how it was going to impact their business. So it's pretty widespread.
And we're gonna touch more about this because so many people is watching, Wayne, and they're thinking. A lot of people that I know, I educate myself every single day, okay, about crypto, DeFi, about blockchains. But a lot
Same.
of people that is watching, they're thinking themselves, Bitcoin's over 100,000. Today was at 104,000. Okay. And it's just going up and up and up. A lot of people thinking it's too late. It's too expensive. But we're going to get there. Before that, tell us a little bit about you, Wayne. About you. I mean, where are you coming from? I mean, how many brothers and sisters do you go to school? Do you went to school? You went to the university? I mean, what was your first job? Tell us a little bit about you.
Oh yeah, man. So kind of an interesting journey. I grew up in a small town in Louisiana. Oil field was really big in a town I lived in. We're close to the Gulf of Mexico, and so I grew up in a small town. And like I said, I was always intrigued with tech. Grew up. I've got two older sisters. Since then, my parents have divorced, remarried, so I've got three stepsisters, stepbrother. Pretty big family. That's really what keeps us close here. But when I went to college, I actually went to college for computer science. Started school college in '99, and from '99 to 2003, I ended up getting that degree. But guess what? I never used it. The craziest thing is I graduated with that degree, and I had several jobs throughout high school. I worked at a diesel engine shop helping with to clean and restore parts and stuff, and then I moved on to run a shoe store. But then I started working for a company called Lowe's. You familiar with Lowe's? It's a large home
Of
improvement chain
course, of
in
course.
the US. And Lowe's at the time was opening 150 new stores a year. And me as a single guy willing to go wherever they needed me, man, I ended up going anywhere and everywhere they needed me to go, open up new stores to where by the time I graduated college, I was already doing really well at Lowe's, and I would have had to take about a $30,000 pay cut a year just to go into the field I graduated in. So I ended up staying with Lowe's and running stores for 16 years. I worked for Lowe's total. Um, I can't complain about it. It was something that I just fell into, never used a degree. And then about 10 years ago, almost 11 years now, I decided to jump in and I left Lowe's and I went to work for Best Buy, helping with, running stores and stuff, Best Buy, the electronics retailer. So I spent most of my corporate career in retail management, whether it was in a store or in the field. And I was at Best Buy when I went down that rabbit hole of Bitcoin and crypto. And funny thing is, I work with a bunch of we call them tech geeks, Geek Squad and all, and none of those guys knew about it even still. And so I was the one teaching them. And then eventually I got to the point where I'm like, I want to do this full time. So I started doing some part time work, helping different companies build educational products. Because if you're going to use a cryptocurrency tool or wallet or anything like that, then you need to learn the basics. And so I helped with educational courses. So I've helped worked with some teams. We built many different courses over the years. And then finally, from that event, that first Miami crypto event, one of our sponsors was FIO. And I saw what they were building. I saw it made the user experience simple. It stops people from making mistakes that can be costly. And I was like, how can I help out? You guys need some marketing. And next thing you know, it went from that to full time to now running half of the company. I'm running the growth side to where it's our marketing, business development, and we're just focusing on growing our ecosystem of users. So I'm really passionate about that. My passion still goes back to that educational side because even when I think about Lowe's and Best Buy, those careers, it wasn't so much like dealing with the public can be a headache, right? And it wasn't so much I love that corporate job. What I did love was the fact to see somebody that I may have hired as a part-time college kid, and if they decided they want to stay, help them build and grow in their career. Even if they're going to leave when they got their degree and go work somewhere else, I could help them prepare themselves to be successful in there. So to keep up with a lot of those people I worked with, 15, 20 years ago and see how successful they are now, that's what I enjoy. And so it's like that educator in me was like, we need this in crypto. And that's really why I stuck with it. That's why I do what I do now. And even though I'm helping run FIO, like I still have that passion to continue to build out educational tools and educate people on how can this impact your life? What do you need to know about it? What are the good, the bad, the ugly, to help people make decisions? Because let's face it, Edgardo, when you were growing up, were you taught a lot about our financial systems and how they work?
Not at all.
None of us were. I mean, we may learn about money, how to make money, how to invest money, how to leverage money, even, but we don't really understand how our financial systems operate. And when I went down that rabbit hole, because technology is always about solving a problem or doing something better. And when I realized the problem that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency can solve, and then you layer in that technology behind it, which is blockchain, decentralized networks, and you realize this is more than just about money. Like imagine buying a house, and one day you're going to close on a house, and you're not going to have to pay all those 20 to 30 different middlemen just to close a deal on a piece of real estate, right? You got to pay attorneys, you got to pay title search, you got to pay all these different companies. Imagine a day when all of that is transparent on a decentralized network, not controlled by anybody, and you and I can exchange property like that, and it's just as secure as if you had all those people in between.
Well, that gets me excited, blockchain, Wayne. That gets me excited where we're going for the future. So tell me, is your sisters and brothers involved what you do, or they don't believe on crypto? They don't believe on the technology?
Man, I can tell you it's funny. So over the years, depending on where the market was, holidays were unique because either I was crazy or man, maybe you're on to something, and then the market's down again, and nope, he's crazy again. And a few of them have taken, my dad, I got my dad into Bitcoin. He listened to me early. So even though my dad's 73, 74 now, he's been into Bitcoin since 2017. I've got a couple of brother-in-laws that have thrown some money in. So they're all open to it. It's just it's been a journey over the years, as depending on how the market cycle is, because it's very volatile. When any technology, especially this, when it's in early stages of adoption, not many people are using it. The price is all over the place, right? Bitcoin went from in 2017, it went from a few thousand to 20,000, back down to 4,000 over 2018, 2019, and then back up. Went all the way back to 70 and came back down to 20. So it's all over the place. But I teach people to zoom out and look at the bigger picture of adoption. And I usually start with Bitcoin because it's the most established. Before people can understand why these other cryptocurrencies may be important, you have to understand what Bitcoin does because it solves a specific problem. But then you realize Bitcoin can't do everything. And then that's where you start to identify which ones are really doing something unique and which ones are just someone created a token just to try to try to make money, and you can make those better decisions. So my family it's been hit or miss, but I think as time goes on, more and more people are starting to listen. It's been the same with friends and family. I got with friends, I've got some friends that didn't listen to me. I've got some that listened a little bit and doing really well. I've got another friend. It's funny, we grew up together, and I think when Bitcoin was around $9,000 was when he finally listened to me. And the other day when it hit 100K, I sent him a message asking how he was doing, how his portfolio was looking, and his response was, "I love you, man."
And I get that a lot too. I help so many people at the early stage saying, you know what? Nothing is guaranteed. And I don't promise anything.
Right.
I mean, this can go to zero, but I said there's a possibility that this can go to 100,000, to 200,000, 300,000. And now they see it. A lot of those people, they send messages saying, thank you, because they're so glad they got involved. So I started hearing Bitcoin when 2014.
Mm.
And I really thought that it was a coin. Okay. When it said Bitcoin, I was
Yeah.
looking to buy a coin. And I remember 2014, I remember one time looking at the price, 180, $180, 180.
Yeah.
Okay. Crazy. Talking about 180 to 104,000. So when
Right.
you got involved, how much was Bitcoin?
I bought my first 3 Bitcoin for under $1,000 a piece, and it was even then, man. I thought I was late. Right, it went from pennies to $1,000. I'm like, man, I got in late. Hopefully, I can get something out of this. And when I really understood what this was, Edgardo, I bought Bitcoin today at 105. Right, I've got recurring buys set to where I buy a little bit all the time, and I've been doing that since 2017. And so I'm sure we'll dive in more to your question earlier, where people ask, "Am I too late?" No, absolutely not. Yeah, it would have been great if you got in years ago, but it's we're kind of if you, Amazon was around for a little while, and then you had 2000, 2001, right? People that got into Amazon in 2001 thought they were late to the game. Looking back, were they late? Absolutely not, right? And I think this is a bigger tech because this is a global technology. It solves a lot of problems, anywhere from problems for large nation states, small nation states, companies, individuals, even down to the person that can't even get a bank account today. They can utilize Bitcoin and crypto to make their life easier. And so that's when you realize, man, Bitcoin may be 100K, but we're just getting started.
So, I mean, you just said it. So it's not too late for those people who's watching right now, because there's so many people. They're like, they missed it. Man, I wish I would have got when it was 50,000, 40,000, 30,000, or whatever. I remember those back then when it was about $600. People thought that Bitcoin was very expensive because they
Right.
didn't have a clue where Bitcoin was for the future. And where do you see? I mean, if I'm not mistaken, it was 2020 when Bitcoin became legal in El Salvador. And I was, I'm from El Salvador myself. I was there last year, and we have a lot of land, in El Salvador through my parents. And now the land, there's so much investment going on in Salvador, blockchain,
Yeah.
Wayne. We
Oh, yeah.
need to go. My friend, we need to go. I have some friends, matter of fact, some friends that were just here in Vegas, that they've been buying land over there like crazy. And there's so many people now investing in El Salvador, and it's just going to get higher and higher. But my thing is not only about El Salvador. Look at what's going on in other countries, nations, and here in the U.S. 2024. And I want to get to there. What you think? What's going to happen 2024 in the U.S. But globally? I mean, I was just reading yesterday about Japan. They want to put something, on some kind of reserve in Bitcoin. I was looking at some other countries. What do you think about that?
All right. So it, I mean, I tell you, we're just scratching the surface when it comes to this. Because when you look at what's happening, is nobody wants to be the first country to accept Bitcoin and make Bitcoin legal tender, or even hold it in reserves. But I can tell you, nobody wants to be the last either, right? So you're going to have this cycle. That's the same thing with companies. And what they're all looking at is, if you're holding government issued fiat currency, say you're holding dollars or pesos or anything else, it's losing value every year. And so they're involved with replacing some or all of that with Bitcoin treasury, then you're offsetting that inflation. And so you're going to see all these companies and countries just decide to hold a little bit of Bitcoin, because that whole concept, what if this thing really takes off? What if this thing becomes what they're saying? And I think Bitcoin is going to be more of a global reserve currency. We may not be walking into grocery stores day to day paying for our groceries in Bitcoin. Then again, it can happen with with Lightning Network. But what you're going to see is, you're going to see so many different other options, but Bitcoin is becoming more of a store of value. It is harder money than gold. Gold was considered hard money. It's still considered hard money because gold is rare. It's hard to mine, right? There's a cost associated with it, and that's what was used for many years. But gold is not easily portable. Bitcoin is more scarce than gold. And so when you look at storing value, that's what the consensus is starting to see, that Bitcoin can be this. So you're going to see countries. I mean, El Salvador, you're right, has set the way. I've got some friends, probably the same friends you're talking about, that are tokenizing real estate down in El Salvador
Yes.
now, right? So you got that going on. Argentina's looking to follow suit. Argentina's already taken steps to reduce their inflation. I mean, they were dealing with mass poverty, hyperinflation, and you're starting to see that trend reverse. And that's just from fixing the money side before you involve Bitcoin. Now, then again, Argentina is mining Bitcoin now too, right? So they're adding it to their reserves daily by running the machines to mine Bitcoin. And I think you're going to see, you've got Trump coming into office next month, and he has made the declaration that they need a Bitcoin reserve. Now, what happens is, they're talking to people that have been studying economics and Bitcoin for many years, and realizing that this could be your new reserve. If you're holding billions of dollars in dollar bills, or whether you're a company holding a few $1 million in dollar bills, if you just hold those dollars year over year, you're losing purchasing power, even though the value is the same. And so if you put a percentage of that into Bitcoin, you can set yourself up for prosperity, and even start to eliminate some of your debt instead of countries that are taking on debt. So man, it's so many different things I think we're going to see from the nation state levels, countries getting involved, from more companies getting involved. Um, just the whole Michael Saylor approach. If you follow Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy, I mean, he's been buying and buying, and this is not my turn. It's not financial advice, but he basically said he feels that every Bitcoin he does not buy is going to cost him $13 million in the future. So he's
Well,
thinking $13 million. That's his future price prediction, and he thinks, and it's not financial advice. That's just him, how he looks at it and what he thinks it's going to be when you look at the scarcity of it. But think about it. Total Bitcoin, 21 million. Now, this is what people need to understand. You can buy a fraction of a Bitcoin. Like when I said about Bitcoin today, I have a recurring buy every week, and I've been doing it since January 2017. Every Friday, I will buy $50 of Bitcoin. Now, sometimes I'll go in and buy more at other times, but that recurring buy is set. So whether you want to buy 5, 15, 20, 50, $500, no matter what the price of Bitcoin is, you can buy it. And to think if there's only 21 million Bitcoin, if you want to be in the elite status of holders in the world in the future, zero point 0.1 Bitcoin. 0.1 Bitcoin is $10,500. 0.1 Bitcoin is 10,000. So if you have that, you in 5 to 10 years could be an elite status of Bitcoin holders because of how scarce it is. And that's what people don't realize. They just think, oh, it's 105K, it's 100K, it's too expensive for me. You don't even need to have a whole Bitcoin at this point. If you're an individual. Now, if you got a company and you're holding a few $1,000,000 in cash, you better swap that for a few Bitcoin and at least add some Bitcoin to your treasury. And then that's going to lead to more adoption of some of these other cryptocurrencies that are building great tech as well too.
I mean, a lot of people, they sell when it's going down, and they buy when it's going up. I mean,
Yeah,
I get so many calls, people that they want to buy when Bitcoin is going up and up and up and up. They're like, I want to buy, I want to buy. I'm like, why? Because it's going
yeah,
up, it's going up. And then when it's going down, they want to sell. And then they have a bad experience. But I said,
yeah,
that's not the way it is. I said, I buy when it's low, and I sell when it's high. I
yeah,
say you have to educate yourself. You have to take time and understand about the technology, about the blockchain. But I was hearing the other day that 2024, we might be able to pay the taxes, taxes with crypto, with Bitcoin, and that's a
yeah,
big deal. I was like, wow, we're going to be able to use Bitcoin to pay our taxes. So
yeah,
here in the US, on my own opinion, what I see, what I hear, that the future is bright for Bitcoin and for cryptocurrency, for blockchain, DeFi. I mean, that is not too late. That's my own opinion. And I think you agree with that, what you were talking about. Michael Saylor, he's not looking at the price right
right,
now because he knows what's going to be in the future. That's what he thinks. Okay? He gives his personal opinion, and there's so many other, people that they agree, and that's the same thing what they're doing. So, Wayne,
yeah,
you have so much information, very value information, that a lot of people are watching saying, well, I want to follow Wayne, Blockchain Wayne, on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Can you tell our audience where they can follow you on YouTube, all the social media?
yeah. I'll keep it simple because my social handles, if you look up Blockchain Wayne on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter or X now, right? Those three, if you look them up, just know, like, because of what I do, I have a lot of imposters. There's a lot of fake accounts that try to pretend to be me, but I have the blue check. So I've got the verified check on all of those accounts. If you follow me there, you'll be able to link off to my other accounts because in there, I also have my link tree that links out to my personal website, that links out to LinkedIn and others. So if you just search Blockchain Wayne on Facebook, Instagram, or X, you'll find me, and then you'll see my link that gives you the other places to follow me, see what we do. I do put out a lot of content. And then if you follow FIO as well, FIO, I run a marketing team. So we put out a lot of educational content. We don't just teach people what we do. We teach people the basics. Like, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to learn. I I'm very passionate about education. Edgardo, you mentioned having to learn something every day, and that's really how you should approach life. If anybody thinks when they get out of college they're done learning, you're not going to succeed in life, right? Because I'm sure you'd say you're business learner. You're probably doing the same thing every day when it comes to business, when it comes to your entrepreneurship, right? It's not just about crypto, but you need to learn every day. And it's the same thing with this. There's no get rich quick scheme. The ones where you hear people get rich, they put in a few $100s and they make millions. That's like a lottery ticket mentality. It may happen to one in every few million, but from a long-term wealth preservation and wealth accumulation, this thing can pay off big time if you study it. No different than any other market or industry that you were interested in. Your best investment is your education, and so make sure to follow those and stay away from people that are yelling at you what to buy, telling you buy this, buy that. You're going to be a millionaire. Those are usually people that they either have skin in the game, like they're maybe holding that token, and that's why they want to get their followers to buy it because they want to make money when it goes up, or it's just they're being paid by that company to say it. So be wary of people that are telling you what to buy. Be wary of people that are telling you you can make this percent each month, each day, or whatever, a guaranteed percentage return. Those are always fake. And follow people that are teaching you the mechanics of how to use this technology, like we do, how to set up a wallet, how to set up an exchange account, how to do your own research, right? I mean, that's more important than saying buy this or listening to your cousin that maybe, we've got family members that have never been successful at anything in life, and they're telling you buy this token and you're gonna be a millionaire next year. Like you got to look at where the information's coming from, and would you want to switch places with those people?
And we're going to put all those links right here on our show. Okay. So you said something very, very important because a lot of people, they just want to just tell me which coin I need to buy. And that's not the way to do it. Or let's put it on nutrition. Someone said, I want to get fit. Just tell me what I need to eat. Wait a minute. Take the time to educate yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. And and that's why I said I gotta put this show not only about network marketing, but I'm gonna put it about what's going on in life, about nutrition. I'm going to bring doctors and talk about stem cells. I have done 2 treatments on stem cells. What they did for me, I was
Oh,
like, wow. Then I started educating myself for the last 4 years. And I said, this is going to be part of my life because my health is very, very important. Okay.
yeah.
And I educate myself not only on crypto, not only about money, but about your health is the most important thing. So,
We've
so
yeah, we think about it like a bicycle wheel, right? We have all these spokes coming out, money, health, fitness, nutrition, success, business, right? And if any of those are out of whack, you got to balance them out. Because think about a wheel where one, you don't do that, or think about somebody goes to the gym and they only work out their upper body, and then you see them and their legs are scrawny, right? Don't skip leg day. You got to do it all, and then you got to do it, right? You got to take action because so many people don't take action. Edgardo, I read a book not too long ago about how to get in shape and how to lose weight. And that book, when I finished reading that book, I hadn't lost 1 pound. I still didn't lose any weight. I actually had to go out and do the work.
And yeah, 100% agree with you. Let's go back a little bit about that. There's so many coins. There's over 10,000. I don't even know how many coins are up there. So
Oh,
many
way
people,
more.
they get confused saying what's the difference because they see a coin that is very, very cheap. Okay. There's many coins. They call it the meme coins, like Pepe, like, there's so many
Yeah,
coins that if you would have know what this coin did, like Pepe, for example, if you would have put $1,000, you would have killed it if you would have done that at the beginning. But
right.
and there's so many coins that they come out new and they compare to this coin that they did so much return. What can you say to those people that's watching about
Yeah,
that?
you got to be careful chasing those gains because it's a long shot, and unless they build any kind of like community or utility around that, it's not going to stay up there. So and the problem, I've seen people do it recently where they're like, oh, if I just throw $100 at each one, I'll get one that'll hit. Well, guess what? They've lost way more money doing that than if they would have just studied and invested into something more solid. Meme coins, you have to understand your risk, right? When I think about risk, I think from 0 to 100, or from Bitcoin to meme coins, and there's other stuff in between. Meme coins are high risk. So you got to compare it to gambling. I'm not saying stay away from it because people are going to want to try to say, oh, if I put in a few $100s, but you have to realize the risk of losing it. So to me, if I'm going to put any money into a meme coin, I have that same mentality. If I go to Vegas, right? I go to visit you, and we walk in a casino, and I'm like, okay, I'm okay with losing $250 to $500 today. If I realize I could lose that money, that's fine. The biggest problem people have is they don't understand their risk, and they'll put more than they can afford to lose into this, and then they panic when they lose 20, 30, 40,000 that they couldn't really afford to lose. And that's where people need to stay away from it. And also know it's a lottery ticket mentality. There's so many out there. You're never know. A lot of times, if you like when you start hearing it from everybody that's going to be big, chances are you've already missed it, right? I mean, that's what people need to realize with those meme coins. And then they also make them look so cheap because they'll create so many. So like Shiba, for instance, had trillions of coins, so it looks like it's fractions and fractions of a penny. And people are like, oh, if it just goes to a penny, I'll be a millionaire. If it goes to a penny, everybody will be a millionaire, and they'll be worth more than our entire country, right? You got to realize that it just looks cheap. Just like Bitcoin looks expensive because there's only 21 million, Shiba looks cheap because because there's trillions of them. And so it's really, you have to understand the economics of how it works. What's the total supply of that coin or token? How many are in circulation? Because it may look cheap, but really it's way overvalued when you add them all up together. And then also realize your risk. It's very high risk. So I would tell most people to stay out of it because I see very few people that are making gains on those unless they're getting in early. And chances are, when you start hearing everybody talking about something, you've probably already missed out on it. And most of those are going to come and go. If you look at the past market cycles, the last 10 years that I've been watching this market, some of the ones that were top cryptocurrencies in 2016 and 17, they're not even around anymore, you know? And you're going to see that with a lot of these meme coins. And it's so easy to launch a meme coin. I actually had right before this recording, I had somebody text me, say, hey, do you know how to make your own meme coin? Like, yeah, I know, Al, but it doesn't mean, you can do anything with it. You've got to put a lot into marketing and everything else. So I would avoid most people. Just understand your risk. I would, I would advise people just to stay away unless you understand your risk and you're okay. If you're okay losing everything you're putting into that trade and knowing that's a long shot, it's a gamble, then okay, right? That's the same as me putting going to a roulette table and putting $100 chip on, say, number 10 or 11 or 14, right? It's a gamble.
Well, there's going to be probably 90% of the people watching this episode, blockchain, Wayne, and most people are going to say, okay, I don't want to lose my money. Where do I buy Bitcoin? So g- tell us, educate the people here, the basic where to buy, because some people, they're like, oh, I'm in on Bitcoin, and they're on a money scam, or they're something doing something that is not buying Bitcoin from the right source.
Yeah. Yeah. Stay away from things that people send you. People reach out to you on social media, even if you think you know them, and they want you to put into this platform and that platform, and they tell you you're trading or mining Bitcoin. Those all end up being scams. The best place to go is to legitimate exchanges to buy Bitcoin, like your Coinbases. Coinbase, some countries can use Binance. In the US, we can't, but Coinbase, Binance, but there's also some other Bitcoin only platforms. And that's usually where I teach people to start, because if you treat Bitcoin like a long-term wealth accumulation, like I did with that weekly buy, it's almost like I'm putting into my own 401k, right? I'm putting my own money
Yeah.
in, and day to day, I don't care if it goes up or down because I'm buying periodically. And then 5-10 years from now, when I look at that, it's going to be very, very valuable. And so there's some other Bitcoin only exchanges. There's Swan Bitcoin, SWAN. There's River, RIVER, Bitcoin, and all of those are just places you can buy Bitcoin for very low fees, and get started. All of them, all the legitimate ones, are going to have you verify your identity. They call it KYC, know your customer. You have to upload a picture of your ID, verify your identity, and then you connect the bank account and you can buy from there. There's also Bitcoin and Cash App, and the prices sometimes there are pretty good. So you can also buy within Cash App. And what I like about every one of those, you want to make sure you buy it in a place where you can also withdraw it if you want to. So when I buy Bitcoin in Cash App, I've done it from time to time. I can immediately send that to a wallet on my phone that I control. And so, and that same thing with Coinbase. And what that means is cryptocurrency and Bitcoin gives you the ability to hold your own assets, have 100% ownership. So when people buy Bitcoin and they leave it on an exchange, you're treating it like a bank and you're hoping that company is going to hold it for you. Now, even though I trust them to buy, I don't want to leave it there long term. What we saw happen 2 years ago with FTX was not a crypto problem. FTX was a problem where people were leaving their cryptocurrency on an exchange and the owner of that exchange was stealing users' funds. And that's what really happened there. Why would you leave it on there when you don't need to? Unless you're actively selling or buying it, you don't need it on the exchange. You can withdraw it to a wallet app that you control 100%. So just steps, right? People can start buying Coinbase, Swan, River, Cash App. But once you have more than a few $100s worth in there, you need to start removing it and bringing it, sending it to your own wallet.
And crypto.com too in the US,
Another good one,
you
yeah.
know? Yeah,
Yeah.
crypto.com. And yeah, that's very, very important because sometimes people just go and buy it and they have no information where they're buying this Bitcoin and they lose their money. And we don't want anyone to do that. So,
Right.
blockchain Wayne, you've been traveling to all these different countries, and I see you traveling all different countries because you have so much to teach. Anything else that you want to share here on this show today for the people that are listening? I mean, anything else you want to share with us?
Yeah, just become a student of the industry. This technology is going to change so much more than just money that you need to understand how to do this. And this is what I'll compare it to, Edgardo. Think about in the early 2000s, companies that were building online were called internet companies, right? Do we call any companies internet companies today, or is every company online? Right? Every company's online. We don't call them internet companies anymore. Today, you have crypto, blockchain, or Web3 companies, is what we call them, right? We call those companies that are building in crypto Web3. This is going to seep into every business, every industry. So no matter what you're doing, you're going to have to learn about this because there's going to be a day where we're not going to call them crypto companies or blockchain companies. They're just going to be every company is using this technology, just like today, every company is online. So that's the mentality you want to have and be a student and study it. And also don't don't shy away from taking action because it scares you. Get your questions answered. I see so many people that even when I told them about this years ago, it's not that they didn't believe me. They were too scared to take that first step. But try it out. I tell people all the time, even if you're scared, get an account, buy $50 worth of Bitcoin, send it to your own wallet from your exchange, learn how to use those mechanics because then the more you do it, the more you're gonna have your mind on it, the more you're gonna pay attention to what's happening. Just like the whole yellow car syndrome, right? You could say, oh, I don't ever see a yellow car, but then when you start thinking about it, you see them everywhere. It's that same thing here. The more you put focus on it, the more you're going to start to be open to more opportunities. You're going to see things when they happen, and you'll make better decisions. Because I can tell you, over the years, I've seen quite a few people that have jumped into these scams that where they were telling people were telling they're mining their Bitcoin, they're trading their Bitcoin, or both, and they're earning a set return. And then eventually those withdrawals stop from that company because they didn't. And I tried to warn people, hey, stay away from that type of thing. It's not going to work. And the ones that listen, the ones that educate themselves realize that that's not feasible. Like if these companies can make the kind of returns they're saying they're making, they wouldn't need your money, right? They could just trade and continue to trade their own until they get that. And so the more you focus on it, the better you're going to do with this for the long term. It's not going anywhere. We're just getting started. So that's my thing is that start paying attention, become a student, and learn what's happening.
And you got to be educating yourself every single day because with the I
Yeah.
mean, everything's coming. It's like, I'm just saying, you know what? If you think you know everything, I mean, it just, you just see everything what's going on. I cannot keep up with it. And
Right.
every single day, okay, every day I educate myself what's going on. I want to know what's going on. Like the other day, there was a meeting with Microsoft that they want to, start to see if they're going to start investing in Bitcoin. They were talking about all these countries, big companies, and I'm just saying myself, when this start happening, one Microsoft, Facebook, Apple, it's just going to be crazy. There's only 21 million Bitcoins. Okay.
Right.
So, I mean, the opportunity is now. That's my opinion. Okay. And if you don't see it now, when it's 200,000, 250, and it's going to go up and down. That's, that's very, very normal. Okay. So, last question I have for you, blockchain Wayne, is do you want to leave a legacy, or how do you want people to remember you?
You know, it's all about the satisfaction is in the people we help. So it's setting up myself and my family to where they're taken care of no matter what happens. But then also to hear like this is not a zero sum game. Like there's not going to be only a certain amount of people that can win. If I teach you about this and you take the right action, you can win too, and we can all win together. So it's not like if I've got to keep all that stuff to me because I want to be successful, so I got to keep it away from you. The way this is working is we can impact the world, and so that's where I see this technology can change people. Imagine some countries like you're talking about, like El Salvador. We talked about Argentina. Think about all these other countries that their money system has already collapsed, and some of those people can't even access bank accounts. Imagine a day where they can become thriving entrepreneurs because they were able to utilize this technology to participate in free markets. And so anywhere from somebody saying, "Hey, I learned something. He stopped, he helped me get started," or "I learned from him and it saved me from getting involved in a scam," or "We took this technology to the world and it impacted these countries positively." Like that's, that when we get to that big, it's not going to be attributed to me, right? It's a collective movement, but we all have to do our part, and that's where I get satisfaction. Like if you're going to live in this world, you might as well make an impact instead of just trying to say, "What can I do for me?"
And like I said, 90% of the people who watch the show, they don't know you, they don't know me, and they're going to be thankful that they learned something out of this interview. Okay. And that's what you're saying right here. So,
Yeah.
don't forget to subscribe and leave the comments. Any comments that you have, even from Blockchain Wayne. If you have a question, please write it down, and it will, we'll be there to try to answer any questions that you have. And once again, don't forget to subscribe and give us a like, because this channel is growing every single day. Blockchain Wayne, it's been an honor, my friend, to come on the show and give us so much information that tomorrow people are going to be watching this and they're going to say, wow, I took this, this lesson, this interview changed my life. And that's what we want to hear. And that's what we want to see here on the comments too. So thank you very much, Blockchain Wayne. Once again, my friend, take care. And, we'll see you next time, maybe here in Vegas, and we'll do some kind of event here in Vegas. Okay.
I'll be in Vegas soon. I'll be in Vegas in May. So if not sooner,
Okay.
but
Well, May is my. Do you say May?
yeah,
May is my birthday, so we'll celebrate over here. Okay.
same. Yeah,
Oh, what day? What day? May what?
27th.
Oh, okay, May 6th. All right.
All right.
All right. See you here then.
Do it.
All right.
All right.
Bye
Edgardo.
bye.